Hello, everyone. This is Dan Gramza, and welcome to dangramza.com Market Studies for Monday, February 16th. Well, if you haven't seen these charts before, it's a daily chart. Concept is a swing trade, which means you're trying to capture some of the movement in this chart by momentum. What you see here, a dashed line means it's something that happened earlier, and a solid green line means it's something that's active, and a solid red line means the same thing. So, what we're looking at here, and these are not buy and sell recommendations, by the way, but it did trade below its sell level. And the dollar difference from this buy level to that sell level, again, just to give you a reference, so you have an idea of the dollar value change is $4,050 a contract. We see that over here in the NASDAQ market as we go into that balance phase. This implies possible transition, just like the S&P. Monday and Tuesday will be very important for these markets. Dollar difference buy to sell level in that market is $2,075 a contract. But what about the Dow? That marches to the beat of its own drum in terms of what happens here. But the buy to sell level up there, that was $3,770 a contract. The sell to buy level here is $405 a contract right there. That sell to buy level there. So on the buy side, it failed because it's closing below that level. It means it's losing money with that type of closing price. So you always want to be aware of how you manage risk anytime you and I touch market exposure. Now, Russell, the small to mid cap, buy to sell level in that market, that was $2,400 a contract. The difference here between that sell to that buy level is $250 a contract. Different attitude. Look for an inside day on Monday and follow through to the upside on Tuesday. What about currencies? Well, the euro, the difference here between that buy and that sell level in that market is $900 a contract. And the dollar difference, that buy to sell level there, the sell to buy level, is $175 a contract. And again, if we were long where that market traded just a tick above that green line, it closed below it. So that was underwater going into the weekend. The sideways move is what we're looking for. I think it's a bullish bias. And, I feel that way about the Swissy as well. Dollar difference buy to sell level there, $1,087.50. Check out Mr. Yen. Also, buy to sell level there is $587.50. The bias is for a move to the upside. The enthusiasm in Japan, it is amazing. When I talk to people I know there, it's really noticeable, the difference in attitude, I think. But what do we see here in the Aussie dollar? Well, buy to sell level there in that market, $1,140 a contract. Again, even though it's weaker, I think the bias is for a move to the upside. I feel the same way about our friend, the British pound. Buy to sell level in that market is $237.50. And what do we look for? We look for buyers to continue on Monday. If not, look for a sideways move. Check out the Canadian dollar. Our friends up north, well, buy to sell level in that market. That dollar difference is $270 a contract. And again, I think the bias is for a move to the upside. So be careful if you're on the short side. Well, what about Bitcoin? Has it gotten low enough to find buyers? Well, we got the first step. This could be a longer term bottom. The next 3 days are critical, as we talked about in the advanced video. Dollar difference here, that sell to buy level in that market is $2,475. No, it's $1,475 a contract. Do we look for follow through? Yes, to the upside in that market. Same thing here for 10-year notes. Yields are down, prices are up. Same thing in the bond market. Look for follow through to the upside in that market. Dollar difference here, $250 a contract. What about gold? Well, buy to sell level here in that market was 1,005, I'm sorry, $15,500 a contract. What do we look for here? Have we gotten cheap enough to find these buyers? Possibly. First 2 days of the next coming week will give us those insights. If indeed buyers are here, we should see them. Same thing holds true in silver. Now, it did trade above its buy level, and it did close below that buy level. So that is also underwater going into the weekend. The dollar difference here in that market was $5,000 a contract. Difference here buy to sell level is, what is that? That is 4,700 and $4,700 a contract. Now let's talk about copper. We're missing China, I think, in copper. It did trade above its buy level and it's closing below it as well. So it's underwater going into the weekend. Dollar difference here, $2,250 a contract. And if we look at what's going on with crude oil, it also got low enough to find a little bit of buying. It's bouncing on the close. I do look for an update on Monday in that market, so be on guard if you're on the short side. Dollar difference here between the sell and buy level or buy to sell level is $560 a contract. Nat gas, we have a lot of nat gas out there, even though we got these temperatures fluctuating. Look for a sideways move in this market. Dollar difference sell to buy level, $900 a contract. I'm looking for a neutral zone trade. Beans firming up, but it's got what I call a false sense of security. Be careful here if you're on the long side of that market. Well, those are my thoughts for today. Thank you for joining me. Look forward to being with you again. And as always, take care.